So my name's Sky Huddleston. I did a presentation this year and last year on Bourke Engine and Bourke Engine Technology, as well as hydrocarbon systems and fuel systems. And that's been my area of specialization and study for the last 10 years of my life, and all things related to it, anything from tribology, metallic and non-metallic sealing rings, bearing systems, fuel systems, pumping systems, scavenging systems, metallurgy, all things related to it. And so that's what I've been doing, is working on that. So one of the things that got me started on this route is that when I was young, I came up in a family that didn't have a particularly lot of money. And so we had to fix everything, ourselves. We couldn't afford to take our cars in or our lawnmowers into the mechanic. So I became intimately familiar with what breaks in a car and how it breaks and why it breaks. And engines break a lot, and they break a lot for a really plethora of stupid reasons. So I figured I'm going to go ahead and design an engine that doesn't break, is easy to maintain when it does break, and is really, really efficient so that people will be able to drive longer distances and do things that they otherwise would be incapable of affording to do so. And as a result, that set me down a lifelong journey and path to perfect the ICE and IDE to reach Pareto efficiency. And here I am about on the precipice of doing it. So there's a lot of factors. For one, simplicity. There's only 2 to 3 moving parts, 4 tops depending on variables. Efficiency, it's over twice as efficient as any other engine on the road today. All other factors being equal, and that's a conservative number. With the chemical systems, we can increase that to a multiplicity of factors ahead of that. Longevity, it's going to have a lifespan of at least 5 to 10 million miles, conservatively. And like I said, it will be so easy to maintain and replace and fix and repair. You could do an entire overhaul on this engine in 15 minutes with one wrench. You can do a top overhaul on the engine without even dismounting it from the transmission or taking it out of the vehicle. Another thing you can do with this system, when coupled to the proprietary fuel pump we're developing, you'll be able to run any combustible fluid without adjustment, including charcoal water slurry fuels and coal water slurry fuels, crude oil, waste motor oil, waste ketones, waste unrefined vegetable oil, gas diesel, JP8 kerosene, things of that nature. You could even run depolymerized tires and plastics without adjustment to the system, so you can effectively burn any organic mass and trash can be used in this engine system without adjustment. What I will say is that ultimately, I come from a blue-collar background. My father is a master machinist. My grandfather was a welder in the Navy and a carpenter afterwards, so my family traces its blue-collar heritage back to well over a century and a half, all the way back to the Greer Mill in the early 1800s. And so I have a very strong heritage with manufacturing and industry and energy that dates way back. And so a lot of these struggles and strifes that came with outsourcing of manufacturing to China and Mexico and other places, right, led my family to be a little more creative than what most people would have to be, given the crunch for resources that came about as a result of the deindustrialization of the Midwest. And so that's where I set upon to design and build a system, an engine system, that would never break, so that nobody would have to repair engines like I had to do when I was a child. Some might call me a mechanical engineer. I've been described that before, but at the end of the day, I'm just a guy trying to do a thing to make the world a better place. Well, the heater company, which is my primary source of revenue as of right now, that has some interesting aspects of it as well. We have some new designs that we're developing that will be the world's first solid fuel internal combustion gas turbine engine and generator. So that's going to be interesting, because that'll allow people to burn wood chips, agricultural waste, cordwood, corn, food scraps, plastics, chopped up tires, just actual waste directly into a system that has integral combined heat and power for residential applications, that is relatively inexpensive, that the common man can afford, and that can completely obviate their utility bills. So my rocket heater website is rocketheater.com. That's my main source of revenue. We are about to break $1 million in revenue this year. That's not bad. So I'm really happy about that. And we can use a lot of the proceeds from this enterprise to developing new technology, like the aforementioned turbine and the engine, and we have a carburization kiln that will be able to produce lots and lots of biochar more efficiently than any other biochar kiln ever made. And so we have a lot of different technologies that we would like to develop and work on. I've been discussing with Aaron on making next generation spark plugs using tungsten electrodes so that we have long-lasting spark plugs that can create hotter sparks for greater efficiency. So there's a lot of interesting things that we would like to commence developing and commercializing and getting into the market that the rocket heater business is acting as a foundation for. It's a slower way to grow a business, but it's arguably safer and more stable. It's certainly I wouldn't call it a unique way because other people have done it before, but it's been interesting myself learning all the ins and outs and trying to obtain a modicum amount of business acumen so that I can be a self-funded entrepreneur. And it's been an interesting journey along the way. I've learned more in the last 6 months on what it takes to run a business than I have in the last 6 years. So it's been a very interesting journey for me.